Now, there is a super fascinating story doing the rounds, and it goes like this. After the 2017 elections, Raila and DP William Ruto met, okay? And the objective of their meeting was on how best to bring down the government of Uhuru Kenyatta. And the story from the streets goes that Ruto suggested that his MPs, his influence within the Jubilee Party, gangs up with ODM and they impeach President Uhuru Kenyatta. And after impeaching President Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto and Raila take over. Now, what I find mind-boggling about this story that is spreading all over the place is the fact that there is no argument, there is no doubt that this meeting took place, according to these people spreading the story. The doubt, or the controversy, is in who approached who. The majority are speculating that actually it's DP Ruto who approached Raila. And then Raila, instead of going ahead with the plan, rushed to President Uhuru Kenyatta and revealed it to him. And therefore goes this story. This neatly explains the current fallout between the president and his deputy. According to this story, this is what brought up this business of the president calling Raila my brother all the time, and at the least excuse, my brother Raila. Well. Now that is an amazing story, no doubt about it. That is the kind of story that would excite very many Kenyans. But we need to slow down. It is impossible, knowing politicians and knowing the way politicians work, it is impossible to verify whether this meeting actually took place. Although people are trying to convince us, the issue is not whether it took place or not. The issue is who approached who. Because if it is indeed Raila who approached Ruto, then Ruto is innocent. Raila just played him. And if it is Ruto who indeed approached Raila, then Ruto is the betrayer. And Raila was justified in saving the Uhuru presidency. And the truth is, Ruto would have been justified to make such a move. Because already in the run-up to the election, there was a problem with the Uhuru camp. There were very clear signs that the TNA wing, led by Uhuru Kenyatta within Jubilee, would renege on their promise to support DP William Ruto for 2022. Still, even with all that was going down, it is still impossible to verify the truth, whether this meeting actually really took place. My gut feeling is that it did not. This is just a story. This is a story spread by somebody in political circles with an objective in mind. However, as we have seen in recent times, for instance, the president's speech in Parliament, the State of the Nation address, it is clear that the handshake side are very cautious. Many people say they're overcautious. It's as if they're afraid of the deputy president. They're handling with the deputy president with kid gloves. That's what the vast majority of Kenyans say. The vast majority of Kenyans are getting very impatient. They're saying this talk. They're tired of it. They want action. And of course, when the majority of Kenyans are talking about that, they're obviously talking about the deputy president leaving office. And preferably, the deputy president being charged in a court of law. And some of the allegations leveled against him being actually translated into charges on a charge sheet. However, it is crystal clear that the handshake side is very cautious. And it's as if they're afraid of something that has to do with the deputy president. Now, if you have taken in my latest Club 1999 sensitive video, you will understand a possible reason for this caution. It will become very clear to you. And especially if you take in my very latest weekly intelligence briefs, you will fully understand why caution is a must. Okay? And I believe you can see on your screens all the information you need to become a member of Club 1999 so that you can take in this video if you've already not taken it in. But having said all that, it is also true that in the deputy president's camp, yeah, they're also cautious about taking a major decision. For instance, resigning. Many political analysts believe that the deputy president would be in a much better position outside the government, yeah, fighting the presidency. Because when he's within Jubilee, he's a lame duck. Yeah, there's not much he can do. But the DP camp is obviously very reluctant to take that course of action. Instead, they prefer to continue with their chini ya maji tactics, yeah, where they attack Raila Odinga very viciously and directly, and conveniently leave out the name of Uhuru Kenyatta, which is really confusing Kenyans, because Kenyans clearly know that we have the handshake side, the handshake team on one side, and we have the DP Ruto camp on the other. And therefore, when the deputy president comes out, as he frequently does, and says, we as Jubilee are doing 1, 2, 3, it becomes very confusing. What Jubilee does he mean? And it becomes even more confusing when the deputy president says, the president and I, President Uhuru Kenyatta and me, have done this and that and that. President Uhuru Kenyatta and me will do this and that and that. What does he mean? What is he saying when you can see the president and Raila doing things together, rather than the president and the DP doing things together? That is very clear. Even a child can see. And as the deputy president continues not to make a decision, yeah, the handshake side seems to be soldiering on, yeah, in their bid to remove him. Even if they're super cautious, overcautious, as I've just told you, they're still moving forward. They're still inching closer and closer to finishing the deputy president politically. And of course, the latest move was this visit by Kalenjin elders and leaders to Raila Odinga, yeah, at his office at Capitol Hill in Nairobi. Clearly, what is happening here is that a strong anti-Ruto support base right within the Rift Valley is being built, even as the deputy president continues to make speeches which say, we in the Jubilee Party. It seems the strategy of the deputy president camp is to hang on, yeah, to the deputy presidency at all costs, yeah, under whatever pressure. Now, if we can quickly go back to 1966, when Kenya's first vice president, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, resigned, yeah, maybe we can get a clue or two. And let's start by asking the question, would Jaramogi Oginga Odinga have been in a stronger position had he resisted, yeah, the pressure, yeah, on him to resign? Actually, the shocking answer is yes. He would have completely confused the plans, yeah, to finish him politically by remaining firmly in his position as the vice president and forcing Kenyatta's hand, Jomo Kenyatta, in sacking him, because in those days, a president could dismiss his vice president. It was just a matter of replacing him. So why did Jomo not do that? Because of the political repercussions. Yeah, it would have made him very unpopular countrywide. Yeah, and by doing so, he'd have been creating a very strong opposition for himself, because everybody would have ganged around Jaramogi Oginga Odinga in sympathy, yeah, for being fired. And so, wise Jomo chose to pressurize Jaramogi Oginga Odinga into resigning. And with the benefit of hindsight, Jaramogi would have been in a much stronger position had he stayed put, yeah, even just as the vice president of Nyanza, according to the Kanu constitution, he would have just stayed put and remained talking how the deputy president is talking today. Me and Jomo Kenyatta, the Kanu government of Jomo Kenyatta and myself, blah, blah, blah. He would have remained strong. But when he resigned, he made himself very vulnerable for all kinds of things, including house arrest. Now, coming back to the present, this would seem to be the reason why the deputy president is very reluctant, yeah, does not even want to go there, yeah, concerning taking the drastic step of removing himself, yeah, from government, removing himself from the deputy presidency. Now, again, looking at history, it would seem that this latest move, where a strong support base against DP Ruto is being built in the Rift Valley, with this recent visit to Raila Odinga's office, it would seem that maybe in the future, the Rift Valley could turn out to be the Luo Nyanza of the 60s. What am I saying? Okay, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, in resigning from government, retained a very huge support and following in Luo Nyanza. And in response, the government alienated Luo Nyanza completely. Development was not happening in Luo Nyanza for decades. Luo Nyanza was ignored, so much so that one would have argued it was not really a part of Kenya. And politically, it turned out to be viable. The country called Kenya continued running as usual. It's only that some of its citizens, within Luo Nyanza, suffered. Sadly, some of them even had to pose as members of another tribe in order to get basic government services, like hospital facilities. Now, today a lot has changed. Kenya is a very different country. We have county governments, for instance. So it would be very difficult to replicate exactly what happened in the 60s. However, it is also true to say that there are some certain similarities. For instance, the deputy president still has massive support within the Rift Valley. No matter what kind of support groups people may try to bring up, the truth is that on the ground, the deputy president has got an almost fanatical following within the Rift Valley. That is a fact. And if the handshake succeeds in its mission to bring down the deputy president politically, it will mean that the deputy president will be alienated. He'll be left with his staunch supporters who cannot change. Therefore, that question is very valid. Is it possible that going forward we would have history repeating itself? Only that this time, the Rift Valley, Kalenjin Rift Valley, would end up being isolated, just like Luo Nyanza was in 1966, after 1966, when the then first Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, resigned in a half and went on to form his own political party called Kenya People's Union. And although he tried to get support from other parts of the country, his main support base remained in Luo Nyanza. I'm afraid that kind of development, with William Samoei Ruto, cannot be ruled out. As bad and as terrible as it is, it cannot be ruled out. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.